This is a living essay, and the title is Explain Why Louis XIV Revoked the Edict of Nantes. Introduction. One reason why Louis revoked the Edict of Nantes was his previous method of trying to convert Huguenots peacefully. Was slow. He wanted to restore his reputation as a good Catholic king, and most importantly, he wanted to unify France. He wanted this unity so he could have better control over his kingdom. Paragraph 1.
Perhaps the most important reason why Louis revoked the Edict of Nantes in 1685 was that he felt it was his duty to guide his subjects towards salvation, and he saw huge Huguenots and Jansenists as challengers to his ideology of centralisation in France. For example, when intendants informed Louis that there was a virtual absence of Huguenots in their areas, he felt that revocation would simply get rid of unneeded laws for virtually non-existent minorities. In reality, it is likely that these intendants told distorted truths, as they had, in the first place, been given their posts by Louis and were well aware of his ideals. As Louis stated at the start of his reign, he believed in one faith, one king, one law. This meant that he also believed that any resistance to this must be crushed in order to sustain his reputation as the most Christian king. Therefore, the most important reason why Louis revoked the Edict of Nantes was because Louis believed in unity for France, both politically and through the Roman Catholic faith.
Paragraph 2.
Another reason for why Louis revoked the Edict of Nantes in 1685 is Louis's need to make a grand Christian gesture to prove himself a good Christian. During the 1680s, Louis's mistress, Madame de Maintenon, exerted her influence over Louis, convincing him that the only way to be forgiven for his indulgent life was to become a more devout Christian. Louis had never read the Bible and so sincerely believed that he would not go to heaven unless he proved himself to God. So Louis began the persecution of the heretics that were the Protestants. Louis also wanted to prove himself to the Pope. Louis's relationship with the papacy had been jeopardised through his quarrel over the regale and the fact that he had failed to assist the Christians at the siege of Vienna. Therefore, Louis needed to make a grand Catholic gesture. Louis's need to make a grand Catholic gesture is the reason why he revoked the Edict of Nantes, as he believed the greatest gesture he could make in order to prove himself the most Christian king was the persecution of the Protestants. In order to do this, Louis needed to remove the laws protecting them, so in 1685 he did. This reason is linked to the first paragraph, as both are examples in which Louis's lack of understanding of theology and Christianity caused him to revoke the edict.
Paragraph 3.
One of the reasons why Louis revoked the Edict of Nantes is he believed conversion was too slow. Louis failed to understand the nature of religion and how difficult it is to convince people to change their beliefs. He thought that persecution was the only solution to urgently convince them to convert. He wanted to eradicate Protestantism in France before the 18th century. Colbert died in 1683, and this is significant as he was trying to bring skilled foreign workers into France. As a result, he would have opposed this policy, as skilled Huguenot workers would be leaving. Therefore, if Colbert did not die, Louis may have continued with peaceful conversion rather than persecution. Louis' persecution of Huguenots in France links with the Calvinist war, with internal policy matching foreign policy. Therefore, it made sense to Louis to use similar methods or both.
Conclusion.
In conclusion, the revocation of the Edict of Nantes can be seen as a result of the combination of Louis's limited understanding of theology, his feeling there was the need to make a grand Catholic gesture, and the conversion process being slow. However, the most important factor out of the three was his limited understanding of theology. This is because at the time religion and policies were intertwined to such an extent that Louis used his limited understanding to justify revoking the Edict of Nantes, when the real reason was to give him more power.
Yes,